Okay, I saw a video. It was real interesting. I thought it would help a lot of people on taxes, especially the ones that are not just U.S. citizens, but people that are in other countries that, pretty much are throwing in the towel. They're just basically staying where they're at. They're not relinquishing their U.S. citizenship. They're not leaving their high tax country. But I'll tell you, this will work whether you're in the high tax country or you're going to get out. But Bertie Buffett, that's Warren Buffett's sister. You can pull the video up. It just came out, I think it was yesterday. It's really good. He did a whole prospectus, Berkshire Hathaway prospectus. I think the first, the end, and the middle part dealing with his sister. He's very close to his sister. And one of the things that she actually invested outside of Berkshire for many years, but she finally kicked the can and started throwing everything into Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's it's his company. Or it's a publicly traded company, but he owns a lot of stock in the company. He's a majority shareholder, and he was talking about. And his sister asked him, she started putting money into Berkshire about 45 years ago because she figured he could manage it a lot better than she could. And so she actually took everything that she had and put with Warren Buffett's been very pleased ever since she did. But one of the questions she told Warren, she says, one thing that I don't like, she said, about Berkshire Hathaway, she says it doesn't pay a dividend. And of course, Berkshire's never paid a dividend to anyone. It's just all growth. And one thing that the answer he gave was the answer that I've always wondered for years. And then finally Warren says something about it. And that is, he says, why don't you just sell a share? You got your money to spend. I've always wondered this myself, is why people, you see these people on TV wanting to go in stocks that pay good dividends. That, to me, that's dumb, stupid dumb. All you're doing is you're raising your tax bill. And a lot of people say, well, I want some income coming in. Well, just sell a share, enough to do this. But what happens is 95%, I would say 98% of wealthy people, maybe even higher than that, don't use the dividends that come in. But they still have to pay taxes on it. And a lot of those people, especially if you're in the U.S. and you're in a state that pays, you have to pay a state income tax along with the federal. And what this does is it creates all your other income that's coming in. It throws you in higher brackets on everything. And this is money that you might not even be using. But it's amazing to me how many people select stocks that pay dividends, and what happens is they pay taxes on money they're not going to even use. They've done this for years. I've always wondered why people, I'm the opposite. I always tell people, if you don't need the money, why do you want a stock that pays a lot of dividends out, and you end up paying maybe 45 or 50% of your money in taxes, and what it does is it taxes more of your other income, because that dividend income is taxed as ordinary income. It just throws you in higher brackets. So what I would tell you to do, and you can get with your financial advisor, I'm not going to advise you on what to do. I'll tell you what, if you want to lower your taxes, this is definitely a way to do it. And you can talk with your financial advisor, and also anybody that does your tax work for you. That dividends, all they do is they throw you in where you're paying more in taxes. And I see where a lot of these big companies now are getting so much pressure from shareholders. I just saw today where Google's kicking in. They're giving in. They're going to start paying us a real small dividend. And the reason is they've had so much pressure from shareholders to pay a dividend. I'm thinking that's just stupid. And every time you pay a dividend, the stock price, it lowers by the amount the dividend's paid out. And the stock can go up or down on the day a dividend's paid out. It depends on how much there's a demand for the stock. It can still go up on the day a dividend's issued. But the point I'm trying to make is you're basically forcing yourself to pay taxes on money you don't even need. That's just dumb. That's like taking out, this is the problem you have with IRAs, is you have to start pulling the money out by the time you're 70 and a half. And it forces you in higher tax brackets, and you might not even need the money. You might not need all that money that's coming back to you in 401k money or even IRAs, any sort of qualified plans, but you're forcing yourself to do it because of the way that's structured, and that you have to start pulling it out at a certain time period. But dividends, you're taxed every single year on those. And the only way you can avoid it is to get a stock that doesn't pay a dividend, okay? Or if you, the best way to do it is if you're in a high tax country. U.S. is different. You're going to have to relinquish your U.S. citizenship, not just move out. But if you're from a country like Canada or whatever, you're going to have to de-tax yourself, maybe even pay an exit tax to get out, and then select your equities, and then pick ones that don't pay dividends, and then everything is a gain. But most countries in the world don't tax capital gains on equities. And so if everything is thrown back in as a gain and there is no dividend paid out, you virtually are living tax-free on that asset. But again, like I said, if you're a U.S. citizen, U.S. resident, that won't work for you. Now, it will work for you if you can buy stocks. At least it will defer the money out on the gains if you buy stocks that don't issue dividends. But there's more and more people, it's just a popular thing, and I don't understand why. And most of the complaints come from people that don't even need the money anyway. You know, it's not coming from poor people, it's coming from people that want to see income coming out on a stock that you don't even need, and then you're going to have to pay taxes on it. And most of that money, what happens is they just take it and they reinvest it because they don't use it anyway, but then you pay all this taxes on the money. And this is the key I would tell you, is if you want to lower your taxes and you're going to stay in the U.S., is try to select equities that that don't pay issue a dividend. Now, more and more companies, like I said, are throwing in the towel. Google now is going to be issuing a dividend. Facebook just did it. Alibaba did the last year, I would say about the last year they started, and more and more companies now are doing this. You almost have to pick companies that are usually smaller, fast-growing companies that use the dividend to plow back in to continue the growth of the company. But this can save you a lot of money, because what you'll find out is the more you save and the more you put into equities, you're going to see your tax brackets go way up only because of the dividends. And it's thrown in on all your other income. And then what happens is you just take it, reinvest it because you don't need it. But what you've done is you've forced yourself to pay more in taxes. So the only way you can do that is try to find equities that are good equities that don't pay a dividend. And there are really good companies out there. And if you look at the S&P 500 index, you can find a lot of companies there that are, these are the top companies in the different industries, and you can literally pick up the ones that don't pay a dividend. And now you have to watch it, because eventually a lot of those companies, if they get big enough, long enough, they get so much pressure from shareholders, they eventually throw in the towel and they start paying out a dividend too. But I'm telling you, all it does is it throws you in higher tax brackets. And that's for sure. You know, you don't know what a stock's going to do, but you know if you get the dividend 100%, you're going to have to pay the tax on the money. And the only way to get around that is try to pick stocks that don't pay a dividend. Anyway, if you want to know more how to legally get your taxes down a lot lower and how to get a second passport as quick as 4 to 8 months, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen. You get new videos automatically as they come out. Number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below, and go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.